morning. It's 7:30. Got an extra hour in bed. That's always a good start today. Extra hour in bed. Say goodbye to my wife, my little girl and my doggy before once again making the trip over to Glasgow. Yay! Seriously, the hour extra in bed is a good day, is a good start to the day. So I'm going to go through the Dunfermline town again. It's a bit more interesting than the Coal Road or going around the outskirts of town, whatever. And it's just a pleasant little diversion rather than going the same thing over and over again. I actually once heard that the definition of an insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Apparently that is the definition of insanity. So, do you consider yourself insane if you drive the same route to work over and over again and expect not to be caught by traffic? Or are you insane for, if you're like retail, speaking to customers over and over and over and over again and expecting them not to be dicks? Oops, sorry. You know, something along those lines. Anyway, the post-it has returned, and not quite perhaps as interesting as previous engaged brain topics. There we go. Talk about a couple of films today. A bit about GoApe in Aberfoyle perhaps, and well, several years ago now I did a Silverstone race car experience, which I might talk about if we don't get to the Kincardine Bridge or the end of the Kincardine Bridge before so. Anyway, movies. Films I've seen recently, here we go. John Wick 2, saw that the other day. The Great Wall with Matt Damon, saw that yesterday. And Zootropolis, an oldie, but I love that film. I love that film. It's got such a good meaning to it. But anyway, John Wick 2. I believe the John Wick films have brought about a new definition, so to speak, of gun fu. Now, I can't remember where I heard that from, but I like it, and it's appropriate for the film. Gun fu. It is just proper gun-toting kick-assery at its finest. I mean, it's like someone made the Raid films with guns. They are mental, but especially John Wick 2, unfortunately, I lack the required ability to count sufficiently to reach the body count. It is absolutely crazy. It's more than the first one, and that says a lot. The first one was laced with bodies, but this one is just smothered with bodies. I mean, it is absolutely insane. And perhaps a bit of a spoiler alert, I'm a bit of a softie at heart, and I love, you know, pets and my dog and things like that. So the first one, you know, that particular scene, if you've seen the film, I find it difficult to watch without swallowing down a lump the size of a basketball. You know, it's not pleasant. Not pleasant at all. But in this one, thankfully, the doggy does not die, so it's all good. So yeah, that's better from my perspective. It certainly is. But yeah, the film is just, and the thing is as well, what you've got to consider is Keanu Reeves himself, who obviously plays John Wick. He actually, you know, does all his own things in terms of, you know, the actual gun shooting, things like that. If you look up on YouTube, he is incredibly proficient with guns, which is probably not a high endorsement these days. Oops. But yeah, he is very proficient with guns. Okay, right. Quick detour here. Modern cars, I've only noticed them on German cars, your Volkswagens, your BMWs, and now your Audis. Those fancy dancy indicators where it's just it's like, you know, starts off with this side, like a typewriter. I mean, they're pointless on BMWs because they don't get used anyway, but you know, they are incredibly distracting. I mean, you sit there and it's like you're watching, you know, a tennis match against a wall. Oh no, no, not tennis match. You're watching a NASCAR race or something like that. You know, zoom, 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 zoom. Yeah. Who thought up that? Seriously, whatever happened to just a good blinker? No, you had to go make it a little, I'm going this way, I'm going this way, I'm going this way. Oh, it's so annoying. Whoever thought about it, find the nearest desk, paint a target on it, and aim for the bullseye with your bloody nose. Sheesh. Oh man, absolutely annoying. And another thing about these, I don't know if I've already mentioned it, but the new Volkswagen Golf, certainly, I don't know about other cars, the new Volkswagen Golf, there's gesture control. Right, it works on the principle of, you know, you remove your hand off the steering wheel and you give your music player, your media player, a polite little wave, and it changes the song for you. Oh, what a lovely idea. Hang on, let me just move my thumb from its current position and press this little button. Oh look, I've changed the song. What's the point? Really? What is the point? You know, I'm gonna look like an idiot waving at my music player. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. You know, looking for a song I want where I can just go click, 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 click. No, I don't want to do that, I'm afraid. Yeah, I'd much rather just, you know, press the button. I mean, what happens if you, like, spill your coffee or something? It's gonna go mental. You know, you're sitting there fanning yourself, and your music player's going, you know, it sounds like you've just caught someone doing something they shouldn't be. It's a little bit mental. But anyway, gesture control. Perhaps not the best idea in the world, and even as a novelty, it would wear off pretty quickly. But anyway, back to John Wick 2. Yeah, fantastic film. I loved it. Obviously, very, very, very violent. But Keanu Reeves, you know, he's brought himself back into the limelight with this film. He really has. I mean, yeah, before his most iconic character, you could argue, was obviously Neo. Or perhaps his character from Speed, I forget the name. But anyway, yeah, you could argue that his most popular character was Neo, but I would have to say it is now John Wick. Incredible character, you know, and let's put it this way: I have a list of people you really, in fact, a list of anything you really shouldn't piss off. You know, John Wick steps ahead of the T-Rex, I'm afraid. He really does. He really does. Yeah, I'd rather piss off. Who can I say? I'd rather piss off Anthony Joshua with a set of brass knuckles than John Wick. Let's just say that. Anyway, moving on from John Wick. Very good film. I mean, yeah. The story is straightforward, but when you go to a film to appreciate its action set pieces, the story kind of goes on the back burner. Yeah, story is straightforward. It's another revenge story. You know, it's kind of one of these films where, you know, as you walk in the door, boom, brain out, boom, get in a nice little comfy place and go and enjoy the film. Don't think about it too much. Just enjoy what's going on. It's one of those films. Again, it's very good. Moving on, the Great Wall, which I saw last night. Not very well received with critics, it must be said, but I enjoyed it. I mean, it would have been, I think it would have been nice to learn more about the Taupei, something like that. Taupei or Tautei, the beasties in the film. Yes, there are beasties. That's why it appeals to me. Monster films, I love them. If it's got a monster in it, there's a good chance I'm going to watch it and quite possibly enjoy it. I love monster films. So anyway, yeah, these Tau whatever creatures, they're interesting. They really are, and it would be nice to learn more about them. You know, the lore behind them and things. I think it works on the principle of punishing man for his greed, so to speak. Why is it always punishing man? I mean, seriously, why is it always punishing man? Come on, we're being sexist against. Surely a woman's done something wrong along the lines too, you know. Yeah, who knows? Anyway, yeah, it's about, well, I couldn't really hear properly. Damaged hearing makes it difficult for me to hear conversation. But anyway, which makes it a bit strange that I enjoy films so much. Volume up. Anyway, yeah, from what I could gather, the film was about punishing man's greed. I think in this case it was a mine that released these creatures. I would also like to know why these creatures attack every 60 years. I don't know, maybe, yeah, don't know, anyway. But yeah, it's these beasties, they attack every 60 years, and it is one of, if not the reason, the Great Wall was built. You know, I find a lot of films nowadays with their old, you know, this is one of those tales, as if it's true type thing, and you're thinking, really, this was true? Okay, right? The brain is going to get disengaged here. So, yeah, Great Wall, I enjoyed it. I wish there could have been a bit more depth to the story, so to speak, in relation to the creatures, you know, where they come from, why do they attack every 60 years, blah, blah, blah. You know, Matt Damon, he's in the film, obviously. I think one thing people didn't like about the film was the fact that, you know, these are soldiers that have trained their entire lives to fight these creatures, and yet Matt Damon and his buddy come along. I don't know his buddy's name, I forgot, sorry. I even forgot Matt Damon's character's name, sorry. Yeah, Matt Damon and his buddy come along and they start kicking butt. You know, they really lay into these creatures, and they, you know, they're effective, so to speak. And one of the complaints I believe people had about the film is that, you know, wait a minute, how are they more effective than, you know, soldiers who have trained their entire lives to fight these creatures? Well, I can tell you that quite easily, actually. They're more effective because if you look at the film, all these soldiers are considerably less than 60 years old. So essentially, yes, they've been training, yes, they've been doing drills, blah, 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 blah. But anyone will know from experience of doing, quite frankly, anything, drills are not as effective as the real thing. So these soldiers, yes, they've been training, and they've been training hard, and they've been drill. They've not seen the creatures. The creatures only come about every 60 years after all. They've not seen them, they've not experienced how they fight, they've not experienced their tactics, and these creatures evolve apparently anyway. They get smarter, they set traps, blah, 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 blah. So it is entirely plausible that someone with no experience of fighting these creatures can be just as effective, if not as effective, as someone who is trained to fight them when they've never actually seen them. It's entirely plausible. So, critics, your argument is invalid. Think about it for a second. It makes sense, okay? You know, just take off your ass hat and think, oh, wait a minute, yeah, that actually kind of does make sense if I think about it for a second, which critics just don't seem to do. So anyway, I think it makes sense. And if you think about it yourself, I hope you'll agree it makes sense, you know. You're only really effective at doing something if you actually do it. Don't learn about it, don't think about it, don't revise on it, just do it. You're more effective at doing something if you actually do it. And that's what this works on. So, yes, it works. Anyway, that's enough of The Great Wall. Good film, 3.5 out of 5, I'd say. And And going back to John Wick 2, for me personally, that's at least a 4.5 out of 5. Good film. I sound like a douchebag, don't I? Yeah, okay, let's go with 6 or 7 out of 10 for The Great Wall, and at least 9 for John Wick 2. There we go. Makes more sense. Anyway, moving on from those two, Zootropolis, right? An old film now. It's not even what Disney Animation's newest film. That falls onto, I think it's Moana. Again, very good film. I love that film too. But yeah, Zootropolis. I love so much about that film, and I think the overriding story of the film is, what can we say, inclusion. Different species, different backgrounds, different races, all working together, living together, so to speak, and accepting one another for their strengths, their weaknesses, their flaws, their good bits, their bad bits, etc. You know, it's all about sort of like inclusion. And one of the things about the film is entitled the Mammal Inclusion Plan, something like that. And again, it works. It's a very powerful message for this day and age. It really is, and it's in that sense a very brave thing to do. And it worked. I love the film, and even going back to the film's main song, which is "Try Everything" by Shakira, or Gazelle, as she plays in the film. It's one of my favorite songs. I love that song. It's definitely about not giving up and almost like giving yourself a chance to succeed type thing. And I just love the scene in the film where the song gets played and Judy Hopps is on her way to Zootropolis for the first time, and just the wonder in her eyes. Everybody must have felt like that at some point, the wonder of what they were seeing for the first time. I mean, I've had that several times, I really have. And it's just such an uplifting scene. You know, you're looking forward to the future with absolute excitement. It is really a good film. If you haven't seen it already, get your head from out under the rock you had it and watch it. Very, very good film. I really enjoyed that film. Anyway, that's enough about movies. Talked about movies for quite a while actually now. GoApe in Aberfoyle or various locations throughout the UK. Well, it is absolutely brilliant. I mean, if there's only 2 of you, which I've been on a couple of occasions, there's only been 2, you know, it takes you about maybe 2.5 to 3 hours to work through the course with you and your friend. If there's more of you, it takes considerably longer, and it's, you know, that much more worthwhile, so to speak. But yeah, even just with the 2 of you, it is, you know, you can go by yourself as well if you so choose to do so. But it is fantastic. Yes, it is. It can be quite physically demanding. Some of the obstacles, or the trickier obstacles, are very physically demanding. Some of them are a little bit painful too, for the meat and 2 veg variation of the human population. Yes, very painful at times, but oh, it really is a fantastic experience. I mean, some of my other videos on this YouTube channel, they've got like I had a helmet cam on type thing. Yes, I look like an idiot, but I've got I'm wearing like a helmet cam, and it's doing the whole course, and it is brilliant fun, really, really good fun. And you know, it's all about having a laugh. And yes, there will be many an occasion during the course where you will look like rather the idiot. Didn't beat the dickhead this morning. Oh well. Anyway. Yeah. So yeah, it's great fun. I don't know if it still is, but at least it certainly was the 2 longest zip slides in the UK, I believe. You know, the first zip slide, you literally just start the course. It's like you're on one side of this valley and you go across it to start the course. It's great. I think that is the 2nd longest zip slide in the UK, whereas the final one is the longest. And again, I've got videos of them, and it just, so you're going down through the trees, poof, this wide open space. Oh my god, I'm so high up. You know, if you're afraid of heights, don't look down. Although, quite why people say that, I don't understand, because, you know, if someone tells you don't do something, your first inclination is to do it. Oh my god, don't look at that, it's horrible. Oh, what? Ah! You know, it happens. We are naturally curious about things we perhaps shouldn't be. Anyway, but yeah, GoApe, fantastic experience. So many, you know, good obstacles. But then again, yeah, there's not many things you can do up in the trees, so to speak. But yeah, there is a lot of fun to be had. I mean, you've got this, well, I'm not going to say gigantic, but it certainly isn't small, Tarzan swing where you have to jump off the platform and it swings you into a cargo net. You know, that's great fun. You're flying through the air, the harness catches you, you swallow back down your testicles, and you carry on swinging. That's for guys anyway. And you go flying into the cargo net, and you're encouraged not to grab onto the cargo net initially. Don't grab onto the cargo net initially. So of course, what you're going to do, grab onto the cargo net initially. Me, I grab onto it with one hand and nearly dislocate my shoulder. Ouch! Anyway, that is quite enough of my randomness for today. I am stopped, and hope you have a good day. Bye now.